Hello and welcome to the Video Age. My name is Sean and I am your host on this podcast about things we are nostalgic for and things we are excited to be nostalgic for in the future. Today is the last episode in our Spring Cult Fling, and we are covering Rosemary's Baby from 1968. This film is directed by Roman Polanski. It's written for the film by him from the book by Ira Levin, which came out in 1967. The rights for this book were scooped up immediately and turned into a film because it is a very good book. I have not read it, but I did listen to a reading by Kim Cattrall from the BBC. That's not really relevant, but it is because it is the adaptation of this. And what I listened to is incredibly similar to the movie, like identical. It's very well done. In the cast, we have Mia Farrow as Rosemary Woodhouse, John Cassavetes as Guy Woodhouse, Charles Grodin shows up as Dr. Hill, and there's many other people whom I don't know. This movie came out in 1968 and is regarded as an exceptional film and one of the great horror films. And it is an exceptional film, and the director Roman Polanski regrettably experienced some terrible things in his life and did some terrible things and has directed many good movies. That doesn't relieve him of his crimes, but this is an exceptional movie and it is beautiful, and the director of photography, William Fraker, is an exceptional director of photography. He is a great cinematographer and has worked on many amazing movies, including Rosemary's Baby, Bullet. He's the director of photography for Gator, the Burt Reynolds movie, Heaven Can Wait, Steven Spielberg's 1941, not a great movie, War Games. He's done a lot. Honeymoon in Vegas. Yeah. Vegas Vacation. He did a bunch of Vegas and Reno movies. Oh, and he was the director of photography of The Island of Dr. Moreau from 1996, which was an infamously bad movie. Oh, and he's the director of photography on Street Fighter from 1994. But he's also the director of photography from Tombstone. So, he holds multitudes. But that is William Fraker, the director of photography, cinematographer on this movie. Lots of other cast and crew included. This movie was filmed in New York City. Right? Let's see. Let's just do it. Control F. I'm on casting crew. Of course, location won't show up when I do that. Control F. Locations. Filmed at Dakota Hotel 1 West 72nd Street at Central Park West, Manhattan, New York City, New York, U.S. of A. That's where they shot probably the exteriors, maybe some of the interiors. So, filmed in New York and Los Angeles. The film was released in 1968, June of 1968, to critical acclaim and box office success. Grossed over $30 million in the United States on a budget of about $3 million. So this was a great success. It was produced and released by Castle Productions. William Castle, a infamous director and producer of horror and thrillers from the 40s and 50s and 60s. He introduced things like the Tingler that were gimmicks in movies, and he produced things like The House on Haunted Hill, and it's a very gimmicky director, but obviously helped produce and finance the coming generations of directors. So, before we get into the movie, I'd just like to say, hey, come on down to thevideoage.com and join our Patreon, where we get extra episodes out to you, and you get early access to the coming main feed episodes. And next month is our April Showers Bring Me Dreams for Hours. And our first episode is Brazil from 1984, directed by Terry Gilliam from Monty Python. He is a zany, weird man who made a beautiful dystopian movie that I love, and I'm going to talk about that for a while. I've talked about it in different iterations of things I've done in the public, but now I'll be talking about it on the Video Age, and you can get early access to that if you go to thevideoage.com and join the Patreon. Oh my goodness, it's just that easy. Thevideoage.com. It's just that easy. Go down there. That's the thing. Rosemary's Baby is the story of Rosemary and Guy Woodhouse, a young couple living in New York. Rosemary is a young bride, and Guy is a young husband who is an actor. He's only done a few things in the industry so far, such as starring in Luther and Nobody Loves an Albatross. So it follows a young couple and what happens to them after they move into the Bramford, a New York hotel. I saw this movie when I was quite young, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And when I first watched it, I enjoyed it, and I liked how frenetic and quick moving and talking everybody is. In the beginning, they're just going to look at an apartment. They're trying to find a place to live in New York, and it's just people walking around talking about an apartment and what's going on and what happened to the old lady who lived there, and it feels like a slice of life. Like you're just watching people walk around, and then it descends into this cultish horror movie that comes up around just this little slice of life thing. It really surprised me when I was younger, and of course it was one of those things where I was doing my due diligence, and it's like, all right, this is a classic horror movie. I gotta watch this, and we had it at the video store, so I got it, because again, it was a movie that it's like, oh, nobody's checked this out forever, so hey, let me grab this, and I got it, and lo and behold, it's a good movie. Not really surprising that a good movie is good. It has spawned a sequel, a made-for-TV sequel, streaming exclusive series, and a prequel movie, all of which have reportedly been kind of mid and not great. So People keep coming back to the well, including the author of the book, Ira Levin. He wrote a sequel in the 20 teens, I want to say. No, not in the 20 teens, because he died in 2007. He wrote Son of Rosemary in 1997. He wrote several novels, including A Kiss Before Dying, Rosemary's Baby, The Perfect Day, The Stepford Wives, The Boys from Brazil, and Sliver, which A Kiss Before Dying, The Stepford Wives, The Boys from Brazil, Sliver were all turned into movies. Alright, well, let's get into the movie. The movie starts with some dreamy, very light la 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 over a 1960s New York that looks incredibly cozy. It looks so nice. It feels welcoming. I don't know. But we are over in New York City, and we quickly go to the Bramford. We quickly go to the Bramford, and we are with Guy and Rosemary Woodhouse, who are being introduced to the Bramford, and they are with the let's call him the landlord of the building, I think, or the leaser, or he is Mr. Nicholas. And he is showing them the apartment, and he is talking a mile a minute, but he also asks them what they do, and Rosemary quickly says, oh, Guy is an actor. And Mr. Nichols says that, oh, yes, well, we're very popular with actors and types like that here. Have I seen you in anything? And Guy kind of jokingly says he's been in this and that, and Rosemary says, oh, come on, he's only joking. He's just been in Nobody Likes an Albatross and Luther in several little commercials. And they go to the apartment that they are being shown, and they quickly learn that an old lady had the apartment before them, and she just recently died. And oh my goodness, did she die in the apartment? Oh, no. She died in the hospital. She was in a coma for a few months, and then she passed. Oh, okay, so she passed and we're good? Okay. And the apartment is fully furnished if you'd like. It is cheaper if you don't want to keep all the stuff of the old lady. And as they're going on the tour, the Mr. Nichols, whatever, says, well, what the hell? That is a secretary that shouldn't be there. And by secretary, he means big cabinety thing. It's like a wardrobe. And oh, there's a closet behind there. By goodness, there is a closet behind there. What the heck? And they see the closet behind there. And, oh, wow, okay, well, it's a closet. This old lady moved this closet and this secretary in front of the closet? What the hell? That's weird. Well, anyway, we cut to Rosemary and Guy having dinner with their friend Hutch, who is a New York socialite, and he is talking about how many terrible things have happened at the Bramford. There was a man who was killed in the lobby because he was a witch, and there was a lot of weird witchy stuff that happened there throughout the years, and just kind of a questionable place in general. But hey, if you've got a very good apartment and it's rent controlled in New York, hey, go for it, baby. Because all these apartments they had were converted into 2 units. So a huge, like, 10-room apartment was cut in two. And they did that so they're in a 4-room unit, and the other one is a 6-room on the other side of them, I think. I forget how it works out, but there's an explanation of it in the movie. So they are in converted apartments, and it is fucking insane. It's crazy. Just serving them dinner, and he's telling them about the Brantford and its history, and he wishes them luck. Guy and Rosemary move in and are setting up, and they quickly realize they can hear people through their walls of these remodeled apartments. So it is exceptional, but you can hear every damn thing that happens in there. Oh well. And as they settle in for their dinner with no furniture and just boxes, Rosemary says, "Hey, let's do it." And they do it. And then we have a quick montage of remodeling and little bits of life sprinkled in it. And they meet people. They meet several different people throughout this time. One in particular person is someone Rosemary meets in the laundry room. She is Terry. And she is living up on 7 on the other side of their apartment with the Castavets. And they are very nice people. They've taken her in. She had some trouble with some drugs, and things were going not great for her, and she's staying with them, and they're so nice. And yeah, the building is a little weird, but it's not too bad. And we get more of the montage, and then one day, Guy and Rosemary are coming back to the apartment, and there are police and people crowded all over, and something's happened. And what is it? Oh my goodness. Somebody that jumped out of the building from the 7th floor. Oh, it's Terry, the girl Rosemary met. What the heck? She had talked about how happy she was. Why would she kill herself? And just then, the Castavets come walking up, a sharp-dressed man and a sharp-dressed lady, older people, and they look kind of ridiculous. But that is the time. That is the time. They looked ridiculous. People dressed like this. But they show up, and oh my goodness, Terry, what happened? I can't believe it. Well, here's a handwritten suicide letter. Plain as day, she killed herself. Okay then, wow, this is terrible. She didn't have any family? And Rosemary chimes in, well, she had a brother in the Navy. Oh, well, there you go. He should be easy to find. Okay, well, anyway. And Rosemary talks to Miss Castavet a little bit about Terry, and we get a little time passing, and Rosemary gets a knock on the door, and it's Miss Castavet, and she is there, and she says, oh, it's nice to meet you. I'm Minnie, and my husband, Roman. It's, my husband, obviously. You get it. I said he's my husband. What are you thinking? And they talk for a little while, and she says, she'd love to have them for dinner because they're so upset and distraught that the young lady who lived with them is gone. And Miss Castavet also, comes in and is incredibly nosy because the apartment is completely redone, and she tells Rosemary that she used to be friends with the lady who lived here, and oh my goodness, it looks so great in here. Wow, you did such a great job. And she walks around and looks at everything, and Rosemary's like, okay. And Miss Castevet says, hey, I'm going to be making dinner. You and Guy should come over. And she's, okay, no problem. And when Guy gets home from doing the acting thing, Rosemary's like, I met a lady. She is a little bit too much, but nice enough, Miss Castevet. Oh, yeah, the lady with the dead lady? Yeah, the lady with the dead lady. She stopped by. Lady with the dead lady. Okay. But they did say there was dinner. Dinner, I don't know. Okay, we can go. If you want to, okay. It's a little bit of a thing, but they agree to go. And they actually kind of have a good time. Mr. Castevet, Roman, he has made vodka blushes, which I don't know exactly what those are. It's vodka and that pink wine, the pink wine, the one that's pink, but he's made a little bit too much, so the cups are incredibly full. Oh, no, sit down. You don't have to stand up to get your drink. I'll give it to you. Just be careful not to spill it. Roman, we just had the carpets cleaned. Could you not with the vodka blushes? And he spills the tray that had all the excess on it that the drinks were on. And Minnie's like, oh my God, Roman, you friggin', what are you doing? But they end up having a good time because Roman, he has been in New York his whole life, and he's traveled all over the place, and he knows about the theater, and he knows all sorts of people. And Guy is just kind of gobsmacked by how worldly this weird Roman guy is. And Rosemary, she thinks they're fine. They have decent food, they're personable, but when they get back to the apartment, just like, did you notice they had no pictures up? What's that? They had taken down all their pictures. You could see all the clean spots on the wall where pictures were. The guy's just like, I don't know, old people. I'm kind of a dummy. The next night, Guy's like, I'm going to go back over there and hang out because Roman's got so many dang old stories. That dang guy, he's a funny guy, dang it. Dang it. And Rosemary's like, okay, can I just stay here? Because, I want to have a chill night. And no problem, babe. No problemo. No problem at all. You want a solo bolo? You want to have a good night? Chill night in. Nothing going on. Rosemary's going to have a chill one. So Guy leaves, and about 5 seconds later, after Rosemary gets settled in with her music playing and a good book, lays down on the couch. Fucking doorbell buzzes. Well, guess who it is? It's Minnie and Laura Louise, and they got their friggin' knitting, and they're gonna hang out and talk to Rosemary all night. Okay, cool. Now we get another montage. Guy is kind of starting to pick up work. It is because the guy who got the lead in the play that he was going for has come down with a bout of Marfa blindness. He's blind. He got blinded. Some guy got blinded, not Guy. Guy didn't get blinded. The guy got blinded. And since that guy got blinded, Guy could see his way to many, many more roles, which leads him to be out of the apartment more. And this is making Rosemary feel not so cool. She's not very excited. She goes to Hutch and she's like, things kind of suck. And Hutch is like, hey, things sucking can kind of suck. I get that. And then after that discussion, we get a little more time passing, and Guy stops home, and he has a bunch of roses for Rosemary. And he's like, hey, I kind of been a real dickhead. Been taking myself too seriously and not doing enough serious us time stuff. So let's get a baby in you, because that'll make things all better. It's the 60s, folk. Just roll with it. It's fine. And she's like, really? A baby? Oh, man? And they done do it. And Well, they don't done do it quite yet because they're going to have a nice little dinner. And then, sure enough, somebody stops by. It's Minnie. Oh my God, is she going to come in? No, she doesn't come in. She's just dropped off some chocolate mousse. And what do you know? That chocolate mousse kind of has an undertaste for Rosemary. And Guy's like, I don't know what you're talking about, babe. Just eat it. I mean, you'd be rude if you didn't eat it. You should eat it. Just eat it, babe. Eat the mousse. Eat the chocolate mousse. Oh my God. Okay, I'll eat the mousse. Can you get me a cup of water though? It doesn't have an undertaste. I just need the water for another reason. Okay, babe, I'll get you something. And as soon as Guy leaves, Rosemary spoons as much as she can into her cloth napkin. Because again, it's a 60s, baby. Everybody's got cloth napkins. That's a normal thing to have all the time. Cloth napkins. And she spoons it into there, and then she goes, there, Daddy, did I do a good job? Oh, yeah, Rosemary, baby, you did a great job. Now I'm going to go sit a quarter inch away from the TV and watch sport ball game while you clean up the dinner. And as she does that, she starts to feel a little kind of a little mess up. And she's boo-booed inside. Woo, you know? And she's kind of feeling a little freaked up. And she's like, hey, Guy, I don't feel so good. And he's like, well, babe, I'll get you to bed because you seem like you're a little messed up. Maybe you shouldn't have wine and drinks, huh? All right, babe. But I thought we were going to do it. And, oh, no. It's fine. It's okay. We don't got to do it. And then Rosemary has all sorts of weird dreams. She's on a boat. And she's surrounded by a group of people on the boat. And she's naked for a second, but then she has on her swimsuit. And she's okay, but she's kind of talking to Guy this whole time. And she's kind of conscious, and she's in and out, and she feels like she's, on a boat, but then she goes into a room where there's just a couple mattresses, and then she's surrounded by a group of people, and there's a huge statue on top of a fireplace of some weird guy. And then there's some sort of demon-y thing that's on top of her doing her. But then at some point she starts to realize this is real. And then a cloth is thrown over her face. And then she wakes up in the morning and Guy's like, hey, babe, we got a little freaky. And she's like, even though I was like kind of out of it, he's like, well, I thought you wanted to, and sorry about the scratches. I had a hangnail, but I took care of it. Who? And she's like, dude, what the fuck? He's like, babe, I'm sorry. Was that bad? And she's like, yeah, it was. And then some time passes, and she goes to her doctor, Dr. Charles Grodin, Dr. Hill. And he runs through all her tests. It's like, hey, you're pregante. Turns out you're pregnante. And it's like, cool. She gets back to the apartment. She tells Guy, and everything is very cool, and she's excited, and they're in love, and things are going great. And they eventually tell Minnie and Roman. And it's like, well, shit, we got a really great doctor. He's friggin' world-renowned. It's gosh dang Abraham something. Abraham Saperstein. He's been recognized by New York Magazine or something. But he's the best, and we'll get you an appointment to go to see him. Okay, sure. And she goes to see the new doctor, who says, hey, Minnie is going to make you a herbal drink. It is going to be better than you could friggin' imagine. It's better than any pills that are on the market. It's going to be great for you. And we are going to just have a great time with this pregnancy, Rosemary. You're going to have a great time. It's going to be real cool. And everything's going to be so cool. And then she shows back up at the apartment and she has that Pixie haircut, which is just fucking awesome. That haircut is great. It is amazing. That is like an iconic style choice. It's fucking perfect. And she shows up and guy's like, whoa, that hair sucks. It's like, guy, you have no fucking taste. You are a loser. And over this time, Rosemary starts to develop a pain in her gully works. And since that happens, she's got, a little pain in her guts. So she's going to the doctor, Dr. Saperstein. He's like, hey, pain in the guts, that's a normal thing to happen when you're pregante. So let's just keep going with how we're going. And don't worry, Minnie will keep making you them drinks and you will feel better in a little bit. And things kind of just keep progressing. She's losing weight. She looks pale. Hutch stops by and he's like, what the fuck is going on? Why do you look so, I don't know, like shit? You look like you're dying. You're losing weight. You're pale. You're in pain. You're barely mobile. The fuck, girl? And then, all of a sudden, Roman stops by. He's like, hey, I was just, being really nosy. And, oh, you got a friend over? That's weird. Okay, cool. And then, friggin' guy shows up, like, right after. And it's like, what is going on, guy? You got out of work early or something? No, it's fine, baby. Well, see you later, Hutch. Oh, you lost a glove? That's weird. Okay, see you. Bye, Hutch. After Hutch leaves, he calls Rosemary, and he's like, hey, girl, just want to say, let's grab lunch. Let's, do lunch tomorrow, and it'll be a good old time. I didn't end up finding my glove. No biggie. I got other gloves. Not a problem. Rosemary's like, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do that. Rosemary goes downtown and she's waiting the next day for Hutch to show up, and he never shows up. And she's like, what the Hutch? And she calls his house, and her friend, Hutch's friend, who's there apparently, is like, hey, Hutch fell into a coma this morning. You know how you talked to him last night? It's like, wow, I talked to him at 10. It's like, yeah, I talked to him at 11. It's like, and he's in a fucking coma now, so I don't know, girl. It's like, wow, that sucks. And Rosemary is even more distraught with this. She is in so much pain, and she's like, fuck it, I want to hold a dang old party with my friends, my young friends. You have to be under 50 to get in here. And guy's like, well, I barely make the cutoff. And Minnie is like, well, I can make drinks for you, or I help you prepare. It's like, nope, I don't need any help, girl. Just me and the youngs, no olds. Okay, all right. And all of Rosemary's friends show up, and they're like, hey, girl, it's so good to see you. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why do you look like you're dying? You're in pain constantly. What the fuck is Guy doing? And I love that they fucking shut him out. They shut him out of the conversation. He's like, hey, I want to clean this stuff. And they're like, nope, you go use the sink in the bathroom. There's water in there. Deal. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, just been in pain for months. It's like, hey, that's not normal. And as she's doing this, her friends are like, hey, fucking go to a different doctor, figure this shit out. And after the party is over, Rosemary's like, hey, I want to go back to Dr. Hill. I'm sick of this shit. And he's like, what? What are you talking about? This is crazy. This is crazy. You can't do this. You gotta respect Dr. friggin' Saperstein, man. He's like, what about him? What about him? What about me, you dick? God damn it, guy. And then the pain is gone. What? The pain's gone? Whoa, that's weird. Okay. And, weird. And then Rosemary gets a call. Hutch has passed. Oh my God, I haven't even thought of him in so long. I feel so bad. And she wants to go to the funeral. And she does, but she's running late and she doesn't get there in time for the funeral, but she manages to meet Hutch's friend who called her, and she has a book for Rosemary. And this book is a witchcraft book about New York witches. New York witches! Better than Texas witches. And this book, the only thing that Rosemary gets from Hutch's friend is that the name is a puzzle, or the name is something. And Rosemary, she loves Scrabble. She's a smart, puzzly lady. She likes thinking. She's got time. So she takes the book home and she's reading it and she's puzzling stuff out. And she figures out friggin' dang old Roman is the dang old son of the dang old guy who got dang old burnt up outside the friggin' Brantford like a while ago. That's wild. And she reveals all this information to Guy when he comes home and he's like, whoa, that's crazy. How about you put this book back up on the shelf? Okay, babe? I don't want you to get too stressed out. Okay, no problem. And she continues to go to Dr. Saperstein, and she has stopped taking the drinks from Minnie because she's like, I don't know what the F is in there. And she also stops wearing the locket that the Castevets gave her, which is the locket that Terry had, which had some tannis root in it, which is some stank root, which is something that Hutch told Rosemary was bad, and it's the devil's mold, devil's root, or whatever they call it in the witchy book. And after she stops wearing the stank locket, she goes to the doctor's office and the nurse is like, oh, you don't stink anymore. I kind of dig that. It's like, oh yeah, I was wearing this stinky locket. And she's like, oh yeah, it's weird. The doctor wears something stinky like that too. And she's like, what? What do you mean? It's like, yeah, you probably didn't notice because you were wearing your own stinky locket. Why do you wear a locket that smells bad? That's kind of a dumb thing to do. She's like, the doctor also wears a stinky locket of stuff, which is the devil stuff, which is the cult stuff, which is the thing that I just learned about. Oh my God, I gotta go. I'll be right back. What? I'll be right back. I'm doing normal stuff. I'm not running away. And she runs away. She runs away and she runs to a phone booth and she is frantically calling Dr. Hill. And, well, she eventually gets through and she's like, hey, I gotta meet. And he's like, sure thing. I can meet you tomorrow afternoon. He's like, no. I gotta meet you now, doc. Gotta meet you now. It's like, okay, well, I'll meet you at 8 because I'm gonna take a nap. She's like, please, if my husband calls, don't tell him anything. He's like, lady, I'm gonna take a nap. I'm not answering the phone again. It's Charles Grodin. If you know Charles Grodin from stuff, it's just Charles Grodin energy because it's like, I'm not going to answer the phone. I love it. It's just Charles Grodin ass energy. Such an early role. It's great. And Rosemary, as she's talking on the phone, A large man stands behind her who's looking away from her. He's not looking at her. He's just got his back to her. And is it somebody who's with the cult who's gonna go after her? No. She goes to Dr. Hill and she tells Dr. Hill everything, and he's like, holy cow, that's some crazy stuff, Rosemary. Tell you what, you take a little lie down. I'm going to get some of this stuff settled, and we'll get you in the hospital tonight. Get you out of their clutches. And she goes to sleep saying, God bless you, Dr. Hill. And then wakes up, and it's Guy and Dr. Saperstein. God damn you, Dr. Hill, you son of a bitch. They take her back to the Brantford. And while they're doing that, they're in the lobby, and Rosemary empties out her purse onto the floor, and everybody goes to pick stuff up. And she quickly gets in the elevator and goes up to the 7th floor and gets to the apartment. And she gets into the apartment, and she locks everybody out who's chasing her. And when she gets in there, she's in her room, and she's calling one of her friends, trying to find a way out, trying to escape. And then behind her, we see people cross. And she looks back, and she sees nothing. And she continues to call, and then the whole coven is there. Dr. Saperstein and Guy leading the way with a needle. And it's like, hey, you're going to be okay, Rosemary. And they drug her, and she immediately starts to go into labor. She is very pregante. And they're like, well, she's having a baby here. Oh, my goodness. And they're like, listen, we care about you. We're not doing anything weird. And she has the baby, and she wakes up sometime later, and she's like, how's the baby? And they're like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And then she wakes up sometime later. She's real drugged up. She's like, where's the baby? And Guy and Dr. Saperstein come in. They're like, so, complications. The baby died. And she's like, you killed the baby. You killed it. You used it for your dark rituals. And they're like, nah, we didn't do that. We would never do that. It's just complication, Rosemary, you know. And they keep her pretty drugged. And, they are expressing milk from her. And they take the milk each time. And she is, barely conscious, and she's all effed up on drugs. She's on goofballs. She's getting the milk expressed from her, and Rosemary is a very smart individual, and she uses the spoon that she was eating her food with, and she just plops it into the milk, and Laura Louise immediately grabs it and is like, oh, no, don't do that. And she's like, but why? If the baby died, and you're just expressing my milk and throwing it out, why would you freak out? She's like, I'm just a weirdo. All right, bye. Woo! And all this time, Rosemary has been not taking her sleepy, druggy drug pills. And they've slowly been building up until she is fully capable of walking and getting around. And when everybody leaves the apartment for a little bit, she runs to the hallway closet, the one that was hidden behind the secretary that eventually got moved and was remodeled. And she takes out the shelves, and she finds the secret entrance into the other apartment, into the Castevet's apartment. And everybody thinks she's all drugged up. And she hears that there's a big old dang old gathering. And Guy comes back into the house. And he grabs an ice bucket and leaves. Doesn't even think about Rosemary. He's all set on this. She grabs a knife. She has a knife when Guy comes into the apartment. And when she runs away from Guy in the apartment, there's a cradle that is rocking, and it's making a little bit of noise, and it's rocking back and forth because it has a little return, so it can keep going, so you don't have to push it all the time, and it's going. And since she has the knife, she reaches out with it, and it's a great shot. And she uses the knife to stop the cradle from moving. It's a great little shot. And she goes into the closet, and she sneaks into the Castavet's apartment. And there is the whole coven gathered around. They're fucking having a little tea party. And to the side of the room, there is a cradle draped in black cloth with Laura Louise at it, that dumb broad. And Rosemary approaches. Someone notices her, and they notice she has a knife. And everybody's like, "Oh, hey, she's got a knife. Give her a little space." And Roman is like, hey. But Laura Louise, she's kind of a bitch. She's like, "Hey, get back, you bitch. What have you done? Good God, what have you done? Stop talking about God, you bitch." And Roman, again, is like, "Hey, let's be cool. She is his mother, after all." "Whose mother?" "Well, that's your baby, Rosemary." And she looks, and she's like, oh my God, what have you done? What have you done to his eyes?" It's like, "God is dead. Hail Satan." Fucking some just amazing lines. This last 10 minutes of the movie are just grand slam out of the park. Fucking home run hits. And Rosemary is like, "What's wrong with his friggin' eyes?" "Well, they're his father's eyes. Guy's eyes aren't that color." "Oh, his dad ain't Guy. His dad's Satan." She's like, "What? No way." And she's kind of stunned and baffled. And Roman's like, "Okay, babe, how about you go sit down over there?" And Minnie sits her down. It's like, "Here, I'll give you a nice cup of tea." And Rosemary hesitates. "What's in this?" "It's just some Lipton tea, babe." She sits down. In her seated position, she continues sitting. And then Guy comes up. He's like, "Listen, babe, it's really not that big of a deal. You're the mother of Satan's child, whatever. But, think of how good it is for us. We'll get to move to Hollywood. I'll become an actor." She spits in his face. It'd be better if she'd, slammed the knife all the way into his throat and killed him. But whatever, it's fine. And then Guy's like, "Well, I guess I'll just walk away then." And while this is happening, we hear some squeaking and rustling, and then the baby begins to groan and cry because Laura Louise is rocking the cradle too fast. And Rosemary's like, "Hey, you're doing it wrong." Laura Louise is like, "Shut up, bish." Roman's like, "Hey, how about you shut up and let his mom do that?" And Laura Louise is like, "Okay, fine." And she blows a little raspberry at Rosemary as she leaves. And then Rosemary's like, "Well, you are my baby." And then we end how we started. La 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 la. And we fly over New York, and Satan is reborn. Year 1 starts. Let's fucking go. I like this movie. I'd recommend it. If you are someone who cannot disconnect yourself from the artist, the art from the artist, I totally understand that. If you don't want to support something Roman Polanski did, hey, more power to you. I watched this before I was fully aware of his skullduggery, but fuck him to death forever. I can separate the art from the artist and also condemn them as a person and not the people who worked on this, because a lot of people worked on this and put effort into this who are not scumdogs. Like I said, I like this movie. I'd recommend it. And like I said, if you can't separate the art from the artist, then you don't have to. I already watched it. I'm saying I liked it, and I just spent an hour talking about everything that happened in the movie. And you can always read the book if you want. It doesn't seem like it's a long book. The adaptation that I listened to was an abridged version was an abridged version from the BBC read by Kim Cattrall, which she did a great job. Yeah, that is the movie. I liked it. I'd recommend it. That is the last movie of our Spring Cult Fling. That ends out March. And next month we have April Showers brings us Dreams for Hours. Or me, Dreams for Hours. I don't know. I do know. I made it, and I said it. It's exactly what I said. Interpret that as you like. So, I am Sean. This is The Video Age. Go to thevideoage.com to join our Patreon. We are going to have guests next month, and we are going to cover movies that are dreamy and strange and unique and that I love. The first movie is Brazil from 1984, directed by Terry Gilliam. I am not even looking at facts about it. I am 100% sure it is from 1984 and it is directed by Terry Gilliam. I don't even need to look that up, and I am looking it up because it's from 1985 and it's directed by Terry Gilliam, starring Jonathan Pryce, Kim Greist, and Michael Palin. And many more. You know, like Robert De Niro, Ian Holm, Bob Hoskins. Prepare yourself. My nose just hit the microphone. And you know what that means. That means the episode's over. Prepare yourself for next month. April showers bring me dreams for hours. You can find Brazil wherever you find it. Go to your local library. They have things that you can get from them. I have to pee very badly. Which, I mean, I could do here, but I think I'm just going to go through my time portal like I usually do. Oh, god damn it. Oh, here we go. Turn that on. All right, see you, everybody.